Hello students. Here you are going to interact with Dr. Pruthvinath Gaud, All India rank 541, who is pursuing his IDAS service. Prithvi sir, I made you as co-admin. I will be leaving the session and the session is yours. Dear students, be proactive and it's a very good opportunity to interact with the achiever. But one more thing I want to tell about the Prithvi that more than the achievement, more than the he's a doctor, but apart from it, he's a very down to earth person. I only few people I know who are very much down to earth after getting the result, or it might be anything. But he's very down to earth. I'm very happy to connect to a person in my life with Dr. Pruthvinath Gaud. 100%. I do mean it, Prudvi.
Thank you very much, sir. Let us share something like how we met, sir. I should tell to all the students. So I prepared for myself and in a small institute in Bangalore for the prelims. And after I cleared prelims, my optional is anthropology. So I got to know sir is giving good guidance in anthropology. I contacted sir. Then me and my father went to sir's place. We were mostly, sir, on daily basis we were interacting.
Yes.
We were having video sessions. Sir was asking questions, and on my request, he made a schedule for almost 20 days to discuss topics. So that's how I met sir, and my interaction with sir was so wanted to share about you, sir. Thank you very much, sir, because beyond everything, like your knowledge and everything, the consistency which you show in taking care of the students, that is what matters. From the student side, there should be consistency in preparation, and from the mentor side, there should be consistency in taking care. So that's what you provide, I think, sir. I think you are still continuing to do that.
Yes. Thank you, Prithvi. Thank you very much for the kind words. Yes. So, dear students, please interact with Dr. Pruthvinath Gaud. The sir is with you, and I will be leaving you so that you can freely interact. So, I made you as co-host, Prithvi. Thank you.
Yes, sir. So how do you want the session to be? Do you want it to be one way, like only I speak? Or do you want to ask questions and then I answer those questions on UPSC, the preparation and entire journey? So it depends on how you want to be. Someone of you can put up your opinions.
Sir, you can go with the presentation and then we can ask questions.
So first let's start with myself. My background is like I'm from Telangana, Vanapati district. I've done my schooling in Vanapati district only. After that I've shifted to Hyderabad and then I got into MBBS Usmania Medical College. 2019 is when I started my preparation. 2020 attempt, as you know, because of COVID, it got prolonged. And 2021 September is when we got our results. I got 541, got into IDAS. Now I am posted as Assistant Controller of Defense Accounts. I am giving this brief because I feel someone of you can relate with the background or any other thing, and that would be great. So now the next slide is understanding UPSC Civil Services Examination. So before understanding what is UPSC, we should have some clarity about why we are here. So I see 28 participants here. Can anyone share why are you here? Why are you in this preparation?
To be honest, sir, I just don't want to be a mediocre. I should try for something extra.
So what is your background, Naveen?
I done my engineering, sir, and I already worked for 2 years in Infosys.
Okay, so you're looking for something better, more impactful in work, etc.
Yeah.
So that is the case with most of the aspirants. See, I have seen people from IIT Delhi, people from IIM Ahmedabad who had very good jobs. They left, they came back and prepared for UPSC, cracked. So, yes, there is this opportunity to create greater impact as IAS, IPS, or any service. You have 21 services if you see the notification. You should be aware of this also. You have, I think, around 5 Group B services, DANIPS, DANIX, PONDIPS, PONIX, and 1 Army headquarters services, etc. And rest are Group A services, except for All India services, IAS and IPS. In any service, you will be able to create an impact with your work. But you should also be aware of the realities, ground realities. So if you are in a well-paying job right now, And if you are expecting the same in government service, you might not be very satisfied. But at the same time, if you are looking for work-life balance, many Group A services will provide it. Also, if you are looking for creating an impact with your work or public interface, many services will provide that. Okay. And any other reason? Any other reason? Maybe I see Dr. RK, ITDA.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you are audible. Can you please introduce about yourself? I see a
Yes, sir.
doctor. I got tempted.
Yes, sir. I'm a graduate from dental courses, sir. BDS.
Dental, yeah, very good.
Yes, sir. I have also worked in the IDAS, sir, as a medical officer. Yes, sir. As I saw problems from the tribal point of view and from the difficulties and అదర్ రీజన్స్ అంటే ట్రైబల్ పరంగా వాళ్ళు ఫేస్ చేస్తున్న ప్రాబ్లమ్స్ కానీ లేకపోతే వాళ్ళు ఫేస్ చేస్తున్న డిస్క్రిమినేషన్ కానీ దానివల్ల మోటివేట్ అయ్యి నేను ఇంకా చిన్నప్పటి నుంచి మాది పార్వతీపురం సార్, ఆంధ్ర ఒరిస్సా బోర్డర్ సార్.
ఓకే.
దాన్ని బట్టి ఇంకా నేను ఈ సర్వీసెస్ రావాలని డిసైడ్ అయ్యాను సార్. అండ్ ఆఫ్టర్ 2 years ఆఫ్ వర్కింగ్ ఇన్ కోవిడ్ ఐ స్టార్టెడ్ వర్కింగ్ యాజ్ ఏ వాలంటీర్ ఇన్ కోవిడ్. అండ్ తర్వాత ఇటువైపు వచ్చేసాను సార్ ప్రిపరేషన్ గురించి.
So circumstances is what motivate you. So
Yes,
maybe
sir.
things which you have seen from your childhood, maybe from your parents' profession, maybe the things
Yes, sir.
which happened to you as an adult. So
Yes,
that
sir.
also motivates one to prepare for UPSC. And
Yes,
majority,
yes, sir.
okay. So why I'm asking the reasons is, in the entire journey of preparation, this UPSC is very demanding, not only physically but emotionally and time wise also, because the entire cycle of the exam itself, it takes 1 year, starting from prelims to your date of result. It is almost 1 year, and before that you will be preparing for at least 1 year or more. So end of the day, on the result day, when you get the PDF, your name might not be there in the list, but you should be consistent enough, your reason should be strong enough, so that you can give another attempt and try to be in the list. Otherwise, what happens is the regret comes in if you're not clear with your reason. So if you're not clear with your reason, the lost opportunities. Say, for example, if you're from an IIT or from dental, you might be thinking, if I have done post-graduation and gone into a good corporate hospital, I would have earned more instead of wasting my prime years in UPSC preparation. But again, the risk to benefit which is there in this preparation is also high. Say, for example, if you crack the exam and get a posting as IAS, that is like the best. And any other service also. Of course, we write the exam to become IAS or IPS, but slowly you will realize that every other service has this opportunity. But in public, there is obvious charisma for the all India services, but the other services also do have their importance. So the thing I want to stress here is, you be clear with your reason why you are in this preparation. That will help you to be determined and consistent. Moving on, Ajinka Kulakarni is asking, sir, how to handle current affairs for mains? Can we prepare entire current affairs for mains after prelims? We'll touch on this as we move ahead. I have that in my list. I'll definitely cover it. Moving ahead.
Yes, sir.
So moving ahead, let's try to understand what, why, how, when of UPSC. So why UPSC we have covered. So it is your personal reasons and also the benefits that UPSC is going to give you, the opportunity that the services in UPSC is going to give you. And coming to the what of UPSC, when we approach an exam, what we should first look at is the pattern of the exam. I think most of you are aware about the pattern of the exam. Yes?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So we have this prelims, mains, interview, then the final result. And in prelims, you have two papers, GS and CSAT. And in mains, you have the qualifying papers, language, and then you have essay GS1, GS2, GS3, GS4, optional 2 papers. Okay, this is the broad pattern of the exam. And coming to the syllabus, see, we all look for guidance and mentorship outside very quickly. As you started your preparation and you have decided that you will be giving UPSC, I'm sure most of you must have searched for a mentor who can tell everything about the exam. But I'm not sure how many of you had opened the notification of UPSC and gone through the syllabus clearly, word by word. How many of you have done it? Anyone? Anyone who has seen the syllabus word by word? I see one hand raising. Who is it? Ajinkya. Good. Good. Ajinkya is keeping a copy of that on his study table. That's very important, because what happens is you lose track of what you are studying or preparing if you don't know the target. Syllabus is very much defined. Though people say UPSC is very vast and everything under the sun can be asked, but if you see the syllabus repeatedly, read it repeatedly, you will understand it is very bound and it is very detailed and defined. So let's see about prelims. What do you have in prelims? General understanding of polity, history, geography, economy, environment, and current affairs of national and international importance. Okay, so where we get struck is when we see the previous year papers, we get attracted to the marginal current affairs, very few of the current affairs, which you cannot find source. Like you will be surprised like where this current affair is being asked from, in which newspaper it is published. We are always worried about this minority percentage of questions which are a rarity, but most of the aspirants ignore on the standard or static questions and static related current affairs, which are very much easy to expect and prepare. So any previous year paper, I challenge you, take it out today and see how many static questions are there, and if you get all the static questions right and static related current affairs, at least half of them, if you get them right, are you going to clear that exam or not? You just check it today. Okay, and that's going to give an edge when especially the paper is tough, because if there are more number of current affairs which nobody knows or which are very random, static is what going to decide your selection. So for prelims GS, focus on static, keep your syllabus in front of you, always go through previous year questions for each topic. Say for example, if you have picked up polity, you are studying about the Constitution of India, the first thing you have to do is go to syllabus. What is he asking about Constitution of India in the syllabus for us to read? Second thing, go to your previous year questions. What kind of questions are asked, from which areas the questions are asked, and to what depth they are being asked. Okay, this you should always do for every topic, every subject. Otherwise, you will be wasting a lot of your time in reading random stuff. My own personal experience, I used to pick up a lot of magazines from different institutes, first read current affairs, give very much importance, dwell so much, but I used to lose out on the static. This I realized in the later phases of my preparation. As the exam got postponed, I started giving more number of tests and I started to realize that I'm losing out on the static. And current affairs, even if I get them right, the number of questions which gives edge is very less in current affairs compared to static. So first you should have your foundation, your base, that is your static. Then you can prepare for your current affairs. And in that also you should give importance to your static related current affairs. What are static related current affairs? Can anyone throw a light on this? What are static related current affairs? An example. What do you understand by it?
For example, a natural disaster has occurred. So a question will be related to what is flood, types of flood, or any other natural disaster for that matter. And then we'll be asked to give examples.
True. This is for mains. Mains questions can be guessed like this, or you can add whatever is being done to that particular scenario, or some innovative thing has been done in case of flood management as a natural disaster. Some innovation has been done. Then you can pull that point and add it to do value addition to your question on natural disaster regarding floods. This is for mains. Similarly, for prelims, say for example, in the news there is a debate about right to privacy. Okay, then you can very well expect a question, maybe static or the current update on right to privacy. Right to privacy comes under which fundamental right? Four option: 14, 19, 21, 20. As simple as that. So you don't have to go to every nook and corner of the current affairs. First you have to focus on the static related current affairs, any subject. Economy, say for example today, yesterday in the news there was this ULI. Similar to UPI, they are going to launch ULI. So they can ask questions on ULI. Who is going to manage this ULI? Is it NPCI or some other body? Okay, this is how you can link static related current affairs. And maybe in the news you see FedEx has done rate cuts. So in the prelims you can expect a question: if international market rate cuts is happening, what could be the effect on rupee value? This comes down to the simple topic of foreign exchange or inflation, rupee appreciation, depreciation. So all these static things you can link to your current affairs whenever you read newspaper or any magazine. So current affairs, the priority should be on static related current affairs first. Then if you are done with it, if you have done enough tests, then you can, if you have time and energy, then you can think about some frog which is discovered somewhere down in Western Ghats or somewhere. What is the name of the species of that frog? What is the color of the skin of that frog? Yes, you can expect one such question, but spending a large chunk of your preparation time on those questions is not advisable. After doing everything which is required, the static related current affairs, then you go to these kind of peripheral things. I hope I'm clear about current affairs, what to choose when you are studying.
Yes, sir, got it.
Okay, thank you. I expect other participants also to be interactive so that I'll know that you are interested and listening. Okay. And coming to, we spoke about what current affairs to focus. And one big question is, what is the source of current affairs? Where should we read these current affairs from? So one common answer you must be finding is newspaper, PIB, RSTV debates, etc., etc. But the thing you need to understand is all these things, in all these things also, whatever I have told, your static related parts that are being highlighted. So whatever you read, if you are reading newspaper, read it religiously. And you should know what you are going to focus in the newspaper. And whenever, I think now you are in the beginning phases of your preparation, so you will be reading combined for your prelims and mains. Okay. So when you read your newspaper, you should see the newspaper through a lens of your syllabus. Your syllabus is your filter for your large sized newspaper. Otherwise, there are large number of articles. You will lose almost 3-4 hours a day if you try to read each and every article. Okay. So when you find an article in the newspaper, you should question yourself. How can they ask this article related topic in prelims? Where can I relate this to my static subject? And then go to mains. Which paper in mains this article can fit into, which syllabus? Say for example, there is an article about a new telescope which is being installed somewhere in some country, and it is going to help you identify exoplanets, etc., etc., etc. So which paper this current affair relates to? Can anyone tell? A current affair an article about a telescope which can help you understand about exoplanets.
Science and technology.
Science.
GS3. Sir.
Yes. So you should be able to map your articles to your syllabus and that particular paper. Okay. Only then you will be able to extract the best out of the newspaper. Now you know this telescope name, what are its 1, 2, 3 features, and what it is going to help. This can come as a direct question in your prelims also. Otherwise, you can expect a question in mains. Otherwise, whenever you are writing about advancements in science and technology, you may use this as an example. Okay. So this clarity must be there. And you have read an article about environment, or there is a new legislation or amendment to existing legislation in the environment. So in that case, you should be aware that GS3 is where this question can be asked. This is the static legislation which I have already read, and this is the current update on this legislation. So you should go back there and add these points there. So this is how you need to prepare for the current affairs, and you can very well take help of magazines from the institutes, any magazine of your choice. There is no hard and fast rule that you should read Vision only or you should read Vishnu IAS only, nothing like that. But whatever you are reading, stick to it, and the same thing, try to map it to your syllabus, because you don't have to do 100% with respect to current affairs. You have to do the most important things. That's it, and the rest your static will save you. Okay. Again and again I am stressing this. If you're not good with your static, if you're not doing your static related current affairs, however good you are with random current affairs, it is not going to help you clear the exam. Okay. This is from personal experience and also experience of my friends in the preparation and in service. So I think you should take this seriously. And then, should you watch RSTV debates? I don't know if they are coming now. Should you listen to All India Radio, Spotlight, etc., etc.? So many sources which are being suggested by toppers. You can do whatever interests you, but always try to extract something useful for the exam. Don't blindly give your time to anything. If you are spending half an hour in reading a magazine, a particular chapter, you should be very well aware where this topic is going to help you in the exam. What are all the places where you can use this knowledge? Otherwise, don't read it. As simple as that. That cuts down your lot of efforts and that saves a lot of time for you. Hope I'm clear on this. Are
Yes,
we
sir.
okay? So, any questions on this? Current affairs? Anything I should address?
Sir, similar as I asked in the chat also, that
Hmm.
can we prepare the entire mains current affairs after prelims, or we should be going for mains current affairs from now on?
See, right now, when is your prelims? Next year, June around,
20
right?
May
Yes,
25th.
May
May
25th. Sir.
next year, May 25th. So right now, your approach should be general. It should be common for your prelims and mains. Okay. There is no separate current affair for prelims, no separate current affair for mains. The news which is happening around you doesn't know that whether it is happening for mains or prelims. It's just happening, right? So this is the segregation which we do, and it's kind of innocence also. This segregation doesn't exist. A current affair can be asked in mains. The same current affair can be extracted as a question for your prelims. Okay, there is no such distinction. This is prelims current affairs. This is mains current affairs. Yes, the random current affairs. Say, for example, um, what is the name of so and so moon of so and so planet which is recently discovered? That you don't have to expect in mains, but it can be asked in prelims. Those are the peripheral things which I was talking about. So don't spend much time there. But the other things which I told, say for example, in economy, there is a new policy which is brought out by the government in the budget. that becomes important for your prelims as well as mains. So again, this comes to a point where how do you make notes for your current affairs? Do you have to make notes for your current affairs or not? So the question is like, there is no one single answer for it. So if you are preparing for magazines, from magazines, like compilation, monthly compilations or yearly compilations, then everything is there with you and you may or may not make a notes because you always have it ready with you whenever you want to revise or do something. But that is not the same with the newspapers or say All India Radio Spotlight or RSTV debates, because once it is gone from your hand, if you don't have a memory of it, then you cannot revise it, right? So what I would suggest is, how many of you have sorry, I didn't ask this in the beginning. What level are you at right now? Have you done your classes for static syllabus or self preparation for your static syllabus?
Sir, it's going on right now.
Going on, midway. Okay. Is it same for everyone? All from the same batch? Yes. Okay. Okay. So right now, you are going, you are taking your classes, you are making your notes, I hope. So whenever you are attending your static classes, make sure you are making good notes. And within that notes, at least leave 1/3 of each page empty. Okay, for each topic, at least 1/3 should be available. 1/3 of the space should be available if you are making notes for your classes, classrooms, static syllabus. Why I am saying this is, say for example, you have made notes on Environmental Protection Act based on what is taught to you in the classroom. And later, maybe say 6 or 7 months later, there is an amendment to this act. You can note these changes or amendments in the space which you have left for future use. The same thing goes for all subjects, polity, economy, environment, whatever classes you are taking. That is one way to do it. Otherwise, you have one book or 4 different books, GS 1, 2, 3 and miscellaneous, or ethics and essay, other things. What you can do is, whenever you are reading newspaper or listening to some podcast or news debate, you can take the relevant book and make entry of the notes in that book only. This will help to have segregated notes, and in the end it becomes easy to revise also. From the same notes, 2 months before your prelims or 3 months before your prelims, you can identify which are the pointers important for the prelims alone from this same mains current affairs notes. Okay, so that's how you can reduce your efforts. You will be mains ready with the current affairs and everything will be at one place. You can be you will be able to revise the same thing multiple times. Okay, I think that answers the question on how to make notes and how to revise the current affairs.
Sir, in addition to that same question, what should be the basis of the current affairs? Means it should be the compilation or it should be the editorials of the newspaper?
That's what I said. You can follow anything.
Okay, sir.
Choose one. If you are choosing the compilation, follow it religiously. Map it to your syllabus, where you are going to use it, which paper, etc., what kind of prelims questions can come from it. And if you are doing newspapers, you have to follow it every day religiously, all the articles, extract from that. But doing this is a bit difficult to be consistent with the newspapers. So usually what I suggest is, you follow one compilation, at the same time you read your newspaper daily for 1 or 1.5 hours, so that you will be in touch with what updates are happening and you can relate the same when you read the compilation.
The compilation, monthly compilation, doing monthly compilation will be good, or going for PT 365 or something like that. Like,
See, since you are in the beginning of your preparation, go with monthly. Okay, that will save your efforts. And don't try to mug up line by line in the monthly compilations. Like I said, be very cautious. See your previous year questions, both prelims and mains. What kind of questions are being asked or designed by adding the current affairs in the question by relating it to static. Get the same thing from the compilations. Don't read blindly every topic which is given in the compilation. Okay, this smart work you have to do, otherwise you will lose 1 year in the preparation and you will be nowhere. That risk is always there because there are so many compilations in the market. Every institute is giving one compilation, so it's very easy for us to get distracted. Say for example, you have written a part test of prelims this month end. In the Vishnu IAS Academy, you have written a part test and you found one question from the current affair which is asked from some random, and you got to know that okay, this X question is found in this particular institute's compilation. The instinct is that you will pick up that compilation from that month. You want to read that compilation also. And next month you will write another test. You will find another question based on current affair, and someone will say, hey, this current affair was covered in the compilation which I am reading, XYZ IAS compilation. Then you get tempted to pick that compilation also. So you will lose track. You will not be consistent with one compilation. So that thing you keep in mind. You don't have to do 100 out of 100 questions in prelims. Okay, 1 or 2 peripheral current affairs you might not be knowing, that is totally fine. But if you are missing out on your static, that is not fine. So current affairs, it should be 1/3 part of your preparation. That too after you have given your 100% with your static and static related current affairs. Okay, it is very easy to get distracted with current affairs from the beginning of the preparation. We all have done it. We all have learned from our mistake. Say, for example, if I start preparing now for the next attempt, I will not start with the current affairs. I'll go back to my static. I'll revise all my static. If I'm done with it, then I'll go to the current affairs. That is the learning you get once you write the exam and reach certain stage in the exam. Okay, you will know about the exam as you get into mains. As you write mains, then you will know, okay, this is the pattern. But by that time, your energies are lost. You have spent your energies in the wrong direction. So to avoid that, you can consult like those who have already done this multiple times. You can ask anyone who has written mains multiple times. They will tell you what is important, current affairs or static. Okay, I can very well understand why you are worried about current affairs, because it seems that it is difficult to cover, or it is difficult to know which one to cover. But I can assure you, if you are good with your static and static related current affairs, that is enough. Rest you can add on in the final stages. As you do your test series, the most important current affairs will come up in the test series. So that will be covered. You don't have to worry about it.
And sir, how do you manage the time between like optional and GS?
Optional and GS. Yeah, good question. So in the beginning, I used to see, I already confessed that I didn't take my optional seriously in my first attempt, 2020 attempt. So I got only 227 marks in that attempt. But in the next attempt, I focused on my optional and I could improve 40 marks. So the simple logic here is optional is going to save you when it comes to fetching a rank in the end. So you can get an edge with respect to optional. So what I would suggest is, at least few months before your prelims itself, you should have completed your optional classes, notes, and at least one revision and few tests. If you can plan this, once you clear the prelims, you don't have to do anything. You have to revise what you have already done with respect to optional, give test series, and your optional is set. And to do this, right from today, if you are taking optional classes, you can spend, say, 1/5 of your time for optional, or 1/4 of your time for optional. And slowly, as you complete your static syllabus for GS, you can increase this time. Okay. So, yeah, that is the combination. And in the final, also it should be like 50-50, because optional should be given equal weightage as it carries 500 marks. And GS, you will be very versed with well versed with GS, because you will be reading for prelims, and it's the same thing for mains also, but you have to structure your answers differently. That is the only thing.
Sir, is it a good idea to prepare optional through previous year question themes? Because many of the themes get repeated most of the time.
Like I said, your syllabus is your best guide, and your previous year questions is your best guide. It is like a cheat code. If you have done all your previous questions, say for 5 to 10 years, I can assure you, you will be confident with 60 to 70% of your entire paper. That too on a tough paper. And if it is a easy regular paper, 70 to 80% you will be very, very comfortable. So, yeah, you should start with previous year question themes, then build on it. Okay. So the usual mistake what people do is they go for the extraordinary in the beginning itself. That is not required. First, you should lay your foundation strong. So whenever you are doing your optional classes also, you take your notes from the classes, read the notes, get a clear understanding of what is taught in the class. Then you go to your previous year questions for each topic. Are you able to answer the previous year questions to your satisfaction or to your mentor's satisfaction? If you are not able to find certain things to answer the previous year questions from your classroom notes, then you have to work on it first. That should be your priority. Once this is done, you are good with your previous year questions, you have done value addition for your previous year questions, you are very well versed, then start thinking about the extraordinary. That is the new updates, any out of the box questions which can be asked from a certain topic. All these things you can think of. Say, for example, let's talk about anthropology theories. So there are certain theories which are being repeatedly asked in the exam. Okay. So your focus should be first those theories. Then you can focus on the theories which have never been asked in the exam so far. That should be your last priority. Instead, what we do out of enthusiasm is we start with the extraordinary, that we try to learn the theories which are never asked first, hoping that if they are asked, we can have an edge. You will never have an edge if you are not done good with your regularly asked questions. Okay, because that is going to constitute a major chunk of your exam paper. Say 60 to 80%, it's going to be the static related and already asked topics only. Nothing new is going to come.
Sir, in addition to that, how much it is important to finish the paper in time limit? Like most of the times we could not able to think about points or something because of lack of knowledge.
So you are asking about mains.
Yes, sir.
In mains, one thing is how well you are prepared with your content. Second thing is how well you can present your content precisely. Third thing is how what do you say? How can you write the entire content precisely within the given time? Because most of the times what happens is you might be writing extraordinary answers, taking your time, but you might be attempting only 15 to 18 questions. Okay, that is not going to help. You must attempt all the 20 questions in each paper. Because what happens, let me say, in the final, if you have seen, ranks change drastically with each mark. Okay, so if you have left 2 questions in each paper and 4 papers, so you almost lost there how many marks? Say, for example, if you have got 2 marks extra, because you writing an extraordinary answer for a 10 marker, taking all your time, you might gain, say, 6 marks. But if you can write it within the time, maybe you are missing out on 1 point or something, you will get 5. But if you have attempted the other 2 questions, you get an additional 10 marks, right? Here you are gaining only 1 mark by spending extra time, but by attempting all the questions, you are gaining another 10 marks. This logic you should always keep in mind, and whenever you are practicing, you should keep your timer and try to write within the time. And this comes only and only with practice. As you write more number of questions, your speed increases. As you revise more, your thought process takes lesser time. Because you must be revising the static so many times, you have the topic already discussed so many times, then you won't think much. And the structure also, it gets ingrained. You won't think, okay, what side heading should I keep for this? Should I include a map here? Should I include a graph here? So these things happen in the beginning phases of your practice. So if you practice more, it comes naturally to you. Okay, this answer demands a data point in the introduction, and then this demands arguments for and against in the body. And yes, when I'm arguing for, I can show a graph here, and in the conclusion, I can talk about the SDG goals, etc., etc. This comes very naturally. But for this to happen, you have to like burn a lot of oil and finish a lot of refills in your pens, because you have to keep writing. Start from today, I would suggest. Any topic which you have covered in your class, try to pick your previous year question from that topic after you finish reading it, and try to write that question. Okay? In the beginning, you might take 20 minutes for a 10 marker. It's totally fine. I used to take a previous year question, I used to read everything about it from all the sources, then I used to write the answer for it. Because first you need to know like what you need to put in the answer, how to structure the answer. Then comes your time, right? So in the beginning phase, focus on your content structure. Then you focus on speed, right? So you write your answers, show it to your mentors or any senior who has experience in UPSC, get it corrected, and take all their suggestions. And you can compare your answer with the toppers' answers. If you are not having access to any mentors or anything, you can compare the answer with the toppers' answer and see how close you are going to those answers. The quality wise, content wise, structure wise, how close you are going to those answers. And once you are satisfied, okay, now I got to know like how to structure my answer and I also have enough content, then you focus on your speed. You have a timer for 10 markers, keep it 6 minutes and try to write within the 6 minutes. Practice, consistent practice is what is required. Start with one answer per day from today or tomorrow, and you will start noticing difference in your thought process when you write, say, your 10th or 15th answer itself, and you will start difference in the way you present. This happens organically. You don't have to worry much about it. The only thing you should contribute is you should be consistent. Do it regularly on a daily basis.
That
So
after any test we have given with respect to GS or Anthro, like how to analyze it, like what the mistake we have done, like model test paper we should consider, or like on our behalf, or some like we need to find some previous year like toppers who have written something like that, like question something like that, what like we need to do.
See, for self-analysis, I will give you some checkpoints. First thing, you read the question carefully. Identify how many components are there in the question. Say, for example, what is the status of renewable energy transition in India? What are the challenges? What are the current initiatives taken by the government? And what is the way forward? This is the question. Okay. There are 4 components in this question. First is status of renewable energy transition in India. Second is challenges. Third is government initiatives. fourth is way forward. So your answer should contain these four, at least the four subheadings. Okay, four parts should be there in your answer for a 15 marker, whatever they are asking in the question. Then there should be a good intro on renewable energy transition. If you have a data point, the intro should be your data point, or any other thing which you think is impactful, you can put it in the intro. Then in the body, these 4 points you are going to cover. Okay, and in the conclusion you are going to write something. Say for example, India has started the International Solar Alliance or something, whatever. You can give a current affair, or you can write some people write quotes also in conclusions, but only where it is relevant. You cannot just forcefully put a quote there. So this is the basic check, first check. Second check is, are the points relevant, whatever you have written, or it's just grammar? If you go back to your school days, if you don't know answer to certain questions, what we do is we fill it with grammar. Like if someone asked like what are the fundamental rights? The first line will be, the fundamental rights are rights which are fundamental to the individual. We all have, we all might have written such lines in our school time, and the time is gone. In UPSC, you cannot waste your words on these kind of lines. If you don't know, don't write. Only write relevant points, value points, points which can fetch you marks, points which can show that you have analyzed the question and you have some content on the question. Okay, don't waste your words with respect to grammar or filling the pages. That is not required at all. If you can finish your answer in one side of the page for a 10 marker, but if you could address all the question with good value points, then that is enough. That gives you good marks, and that saves you time for your other answers also. So this is the basic check. Second check is, you can always compare your answers with the topper's answers. Model answers are very elaborate. Let me tell you, the model answers which institute gives you is very elaborate. Even if you see the word count, it does not fall within the word count which you are going to write in the actual exam. So the intent of model answers mostly is to educate you. They try to give the best pointers regarding that point, that question. So from model answers, you can see the what parts they are going to address, and you can check if you have addressed those parts or not. And if you find some good pointers in the model answers, you can pick them to your notes and add to your notes. Yeah, that is what my experience with model answers. And always it's better if you can get your answers corrected. I think that is the best. If you can get your answers corrected from maybe any of your known person who has experience with UPSC, or from the institute itself, it's great.
Sir, what I understood from what you said is we no need to stretch the answer for 10 marker to 2 pages completely. We can finish like 1 page and take the conclusion to the another page. So in similar way for 15, yes,
Yeah.
for the 15 marker, can we do 2-page answer and third page for the conclusion?
See, what I tried to convey is, your pages doesn't matter if you are addressing what is being asked in the question. Like the previous question which I have given as an example, if you have addressed all the 4 parts to your best knowledge, and it is taking only 2 sides, it is a 15 marker question and it is taking only 2 sides, the third side is empty, that is totally fine, because you have addressed all parts of question. You have written what you know to the best of your knowledge, and every point is valid. Okay, then you can get better marks compared to you filling the 3 pages forcefully, like trying to introduce some grammar and trying to extend the sentences. Or if you feel, if you are very precise and in most of the answers you are going to save pages, what you can do is try to do flowcharts, or whenever you're drawing diagrams, take a little more space. That you can do. Say if you are doing an India map, then you can do in a little more space, provided You are addressing each and every part of the question. You are addressing the demand of the question within the limited words. So don't worry about the leftover pages. That is not going to impact your marks. What is going to impact your marks is your content and whether you have addressed the entire thing which is asked in the question.
Understood, sir. Thank you.
Any other further questions on mains and answer writing?
They're like someone is in the like initial year of their preparation and they're doing some classes from somewhere. So do they need to go with the standard book side by side, or once they have done like the standard basic coaching, after that they should go with the books?
You can do parallelly. Say, for example, you are going to polity class. They have taught you about governor. The first thing you should read is your class notes only, because that is fresh in your mind. You have listened to the class, so it stays longer in your memory. Read your class notes first, and like I said, have some space in your notes, 1/3 of each page or something like that, and then you can go back to your Lakshmikant, go through everything about governor. If you find some points are missed in your classroom, add those to your notes, and you don't have to carry Lakshmikant forever. Once you are done with all the classes, and if you have extracted the missing points from Lakshmikant, you can put Lakshmikant aside. And one more thing in UPSC preparation, always lose your weight with respect to your sources. Don't carry everything till the end. Say, for example, the same example. If you have notes for GS1 from your classroom, add everything into that only. Every other source which you are reading, after you are done adding pointers from that, you should keep that aside. You should lose that weight. You should not carry it forward. Because this you will understand once the mains exam is close. And mains exam is, I think you know the pattern of mains exam. Day 1 you have your essay. Day 2 morning you have GS1, afternoon you have GS2, and day 3 without any break you have GS3 in the morning, GS4 in the afternoon. This takes a lot of energy, and in between you can hardly read maybe 4 hours effectively between first day of GS1, GS2, and the next day GS3, GS4. So in the 4 or 5 hours you should have the notes which you can revise very quickly. Okay, that you cannot make at this stage. At this stage, what you can make is paper-wise notes, revise it multiple times, write multiple number of tests, questions and tests. And once you have done this test series for mains and everything, in the end you will be able to make the very crisp notes, say 20 pages for each paper. Because you will know what are the pointers which you need to see in the last moment, so that I can remember it and replicate in the exam, and they are very much important for value addition in the paper. Say, for example, some data points. I can't remember what is the periodic labor force survey saying about women participation in workforce. So you write that point under women for society answer. So that's how you will be able to make a notes. So most of the cases, what the beginner aspirants fail to understand is, we will be looking at the end of someone's journey. Someone who has prepared for 2 years, he is carrying a notes of 20-30 pages. He has cleared, he has come onto YouTube and he's saying you should have 20 pages notes for your GS1. That is not made in one day. After 2 years of his preparation, after writing so many test series, he understood what are the points which are important to be revised in the last moment, just before the exam, that he has put into 20 pages. That you will be able to do. You don't have to worry about it now. Okay. So yeah, you can do the sources, static sources parallelly with your classroom notes. Lose that weight, try to lose that weight, don't carry it forward. Pick the points and put in your notes. I think
Sir, how to prepare for ethics?
How to prepare for ethics. Ethics, again, it can be very rewarding, because if you have seen the mark list, sometimes ethics shoots up to 160 and sometimes it is as low as 120s, the top marks. So it is good to be prepared with ethics to the fullest extent. So in ethics, as you are aware, there are two parts. One is the questions part, second is the case studies part. So there is no separate preparation again. For the questions part, you have the topics given in the syllabus, ethics and human interface, attitude, emotional intelligence, etc., etc., etc. You take one source, read it, understand each topic, go through videos on YouTube to understand the topics, because ethics is a very kind of philosophical also. It's not very regular as any other GS subject. So you need to understand the topics. If someone is saying compassion, you should have a clear understanding what is compassion. Okay, in all the angles, in different perspectives. So try to spend some time each day, pick up one word from the ethics syllabus and try to know everything about that word, try to know examples for that word, etc., etc. So after doing this for few months and you have reached to a stage that you have covered all the static syllabus, you have dwelled enough into each topic, then you can look at your previous year questions. You can look at your previous questions parallelly also. Attempt the previous year questions, try to write all the previous year questions. Then you will understand where you are lacking with respect to clarity on the topic. So this is the usual pattern of preparation for ethics. You should have a lot of examples in your hand and you should be able to relate it to each answer. Say if someone is saying integrity in the question and you have to write two examples from civil servants for the integrity, you should have them ready in your hand. Two examples from the history, you should have them ready. So ethics, the game is mostly about understanding the concepts and having the content ready with you for revision. And case studies, there are different approaches. Some people say you should first write about the stakeholders, then write the premise of the case, then write what is asked in the questions. A, B, C, D, they will be asking, then write what is asked, then write a conclusion. Some people say you don't have to write the stakeholders, just write an introduction and a paragraph summary of what is being asked in the quiz. So there are different perspectives, but what I've seen, what works best is the first method. You writing an introduction, 1 or 2 lines introduction about what is the core concept which the case study is talking about, and or maybe summarizing the case study in 1 or 2 lines. What is it talking about? Then you talk about the stakeholders. What, who are all the stakeholders involved? Maybe in a diagrammatic flowchart manner or in a paragraph, whatever you feel will work out. There is no rule as such. And then you write whatever is asked in the question. Sometimes they asked what are the ethical dilemmas involved in this case study, or they may ask what are the different options, what are the merits, demerits of each option, or they may ask what are the theories of ethics which explain this decision making in this case study. So all these things, again, it is all related to your first part. Whatever you have studied for your first part, you will be applying in the second part as case studies. So that is about ethics. To summarize, complete your static, get clear understanding of each topic, discuss, have notes, have examples, quotes, etc., which you can use in the answers and case studies. Can you tell how to prepare for CSAT? CSAT is becoming dicey these days. I have personally seen so many people who scored very well in GS paper, like more than 100 and 120, but they have lost in CSAT. And the usual pattern which I observe in CSAT is mostly they lose because of lack of time management. Second thing is they lose because they choose the wrong questions and they spend time in the wrong areas. Okay, so to you should address these two questions. First thing is understand your strengths. Is comprehension your strength or mathematics is your strength? So if mathematics is not your strength, don't spend 5 to 10 minutes on each question trying to solve the question there. No. So the strategy I used to follow is we have 80 questions in CSAT. So every half an hour I should be doing 20 questions. So within the 20 questions, there could be mathematics related question, analysis question, syllogism question, or comprehension, all these things. So I used to do whatever I know, whatever I can do very quickly. I used to select these questions and I used to do. And 20 questions, half an hour. If within the half an hour some more time is left, I used to try the mathematics questions which I don't know. Maybe if I can find some lead through elimination or something, I used to try. So this is regarding your time management. You should not spend time on any question if in the first 30 seconds or 40 seconds, if you're not if it is not striking to you what to apply in this question. Say for example, there is a question on speed and time. In the beginning you thought, okay, it's very simple question, speed and time distance question is very easy, I will do it. But as you read the question, it's not striking to you what formula to apply. 20 seconds, 30 seconds into it, you should understand that you should abandon that question and spend time somewhere else where you can score well. If you are stuck with that question for more than a minute or two, then you lost the game. You are losing on the questions where you can perfectly score 2.5 marks. Okay, so this thing you should keep in mind. And coming to the preparation part, I think it is very sorted nowadays because there are so many sources available on the internet, also so many classes available on the YouTube for CSAT of UPSC. So the basic thing is, like, you have these topics like speed, distance, time, calendars, or mixtures, or age related problems, etc., direction related problems. So pick each topic and try to learn those. And mostly you all must have cleared one or the other competitive exam or any degree. So there will be some topics which you can do by yourself. You don't need help in those topics. So barring those topics, you take help from YouTube or somewhere. And how to check whether you are ready? Previous year papers. I used to take like 2 months before the prelims exams, I used to take 10 questions each day from the previous year paper. I used to do those 10 questions with a time limit. I used to check with the UPSC key only. Because in CSAT, one more important thing is, especially with respect to these comprehension, UPSC language you need to understand. What UPSC key is saying as answer, that you should take as ultimate, because there could be multiple interpretations of a paragraph based question. But you should understand how UPSC thinks. For that, you should go through the previous year questions, attempt them, check with the UPSC key, check your accuracy. If your accuracy is more with respect to paragraph based questions, then your strength is paragraph based questions. If your accuracy is more with respect to mathematics and analytical based questions, then that is your strength. And if you feel I am equally good in all the things, then you don't have to worry. Otherwise, prioritize which questions to attempt first. And don't waste time in the questions which you don't know. And always, always, always previous year questions first. Get well versed with the previous year questions and the type of topics they are asking, type of questions they are asking. Done with the CSAT? Anything you want to ask about CSAT? Is optional going to be removed from 2025? Such drastic steps will not happen in a year or so. It takes a lot of time, and I don't think there is any such consideration right now. Please tell about PSIR optional. Sorry, I cannot tell about PSIR. I am from anthropology optional, but what I can tell, what is common for any optional or any paper is, your syllabus is your Bible. Pick each topic. Paper 1, you pick topic 1. Do whatever you can do for the topic. Post-graduation level. That is for optional. If you can do it
Sir,
by your... Yes, no.
I have a couple of questions. So my first question is,
Yes.
is it okay if I solely depend on monthly magazine for current affairs? And how many months should I look back for before going to the
Start from this month.
Okay.
Never look like what you have left already. Start from this month, and if you have done everything, then pick up the previous month slowly. Say this month, this we are in August. So if you have done July magazine completely, and if you still find time in this month, do June magazine also. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
That's your approach. But never try to cover from January 2024. You will always lag in the current affairs. And solely depending on the magazines, to some extent, okay, but you should keep a track of what's going in the newspapers also. So brush through the newspapers every day for maybe 1 hour or something. That will help you for double revision also. When you find this article in your magazine, you will relate better. Also, in the end, say last 2 or 3 months, you will be exclusively giving prelims test series.
Okay.
So in the test series also, a lot of current affairs will be covered. Don't have to worry.
So another question is, so have you ever worried about qualifying paper of a compulsory language paper?
You should be worried. You never
So
know.
because if I write in Telugu, I feel I have a lot of spelling mistakes. So I have to be prepared.
Simple test is take Telugu paper, try to write the entire paper within the given time. You will understand where you need to work.
Okay.
I did this before my mains. I took the paper. I wrote the entire paper. Then I felt, okay, this is doable. And meanwhile, during the entire mains preparation, I used to read one article from the Telugu newspaper because we lose the vocabulary.
Yes, sir.
Okay, especially the bookish vocabulary, we lose this vocabulary. So for that, you need to read Telugu newspapers or listen to Telugu news sometimes. That will do. But know what is being asked in the questions. Because people I've seen made mistake not knowing what is presi.
Yeah.
If you don't know what is presi writing, you lose 60 marks there. I think 60 marks, yeah. So just know what is in the paper. Don't go blindly to the exam in the end. Mains is too far away, don't worry. We will be there till then to guide you.
Okay.
Currently focus on covering your GS optional together completely. Have notes, bound notes, and each and every topic in the syllabus must be covered. If something is not being covered in the institute, don't look for the institute to be all encompassing, and don't blindly follow any institute for that matter, because they have their limitations. They must be doing 80% or 90%, and the rest 10% you should identify for yourself. You go through the syllabus sheet. Say if they have said we have completed society part for you, then you should go back, check the syllabus sheet. What all the topics are there in society? Is everything covered? Are they missing something? If they're missing something, do it by yourself or ask them, you have missed this, so please cover it. See the previous year questions. Okay.
Sir, in last 100 days before prelims, what we should revise more? Mocks and explanations or the static we have prepared earlier?
You will be giving last 100 days, you will be giving mock tests. If you have 100 days, you should give at least 50 mock tests, 50 to 60. Okay. When you are giving mock tests, passively, your static revision is going to happen for sure. And your mock tests, I don't know if you have seen, it starts with part tests. Say for example, polity part 1, it covers from history and underpinnings to say parliament. So that much you will revise before writing the test. So anyway, you will revise your static and related current affairs and then give the test. And after the test, you should definitely go through each and every question explanation given in the test explanation, whatever test series you are taking. That will help you to revise and understand your mistakes. So don't worry about it. Now worry about completing the entire syllabus, having notes for the entire syllabus. Optional also.
Okay, sir.
Please say about interview you faced. Okay, so how did you go about anthropology? Is it necessary to study everything mentioned in the syllabus copy, or can I ignore some topics? You cannot ignore any topics. Let me give you an example. in one of the papers, I think GS2. So there is one line in the syllabus which says Indian diaspora and their contribution. I have never seen this line till the day of exam. I was ready to go for the exam and I had 20 minutes. Somehow I opened the syllabus sheet at that point of time. That was the level of understanding I had about the exam back then. So I saw this topic. I felt like I never prepared this topic. I opened Google. I read something about Indian diaspora and their contribution. And believe me, in 2020 paper, you can open and see there is a question on Indian diaspora and their contribution to India. Straight 10 marks. So each and every word mentioned in the syllabus can be asked as a question. Do your basic preparation for each and every. So select one word in the syllabus, say for example, solar energy or renewable energy. Let's shift to another topic. I've already spoken about renewable energy. Say, give me some topic. Agriculture. So agriculture is one word in the syllabus, but you can split it into subtopics. For each topic, you should have what is the current status, what are the challenges, what are the initiatives taken, what is the way forward, what is the world best practices, what are the recent examples, etc., etc., etc. You can think in different dimensions what questions can be asked. So that way, if you prepare notes for the entire syllabus, you are ready. If you revise it multiple times, you are ready to write your mains answers. Monthly targets, like which month, what subject to complete. If some started GS preparation mid-August. Balu. So I cannot give you monthly targets, but I can guide you backwards. Say for example, if your prelims exam is in May and it's on 25th of May, go backwards 2 months. So April, May. So before April, if you are very well prepared, like if you want to be very well prepared for your mains, I would suggest you should have given at least one full cycle of the actual mains exam. Like first day ethics, second day GS1, GS2, next day GS3, GS4. Like that, you should have given at least one full cycle of the exam 2 months before your prelims, 2 or 2.5 months before your prelims. So to do that, what should you do? Before that, you should have practiced enough number of questions. So to practice enough number of questions, parallelly what you should be doing, you should be completing your syllabus, revising it constantly, and writing answers on a day-to-day basis. So this is the backward thing which I can guide you on. And parallelly, there is another component where you have to spend enough time on your optional also. So
Yes, sir.
you plan accordingly at what level you are, whether you are good with your optional, whether you are good with your GS. It changes 60-40, 40-60. It changes. It's up to the individual competence.
Yes, sir. Yes.
So you try to figure it out backwards. What month you have to do what.
Sure, sir. Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
This I am saying because in my first attempt I faced this difficulty. I cleared the prelims, but I didn't have any notes for mains. I have not written enough answers for mains to understand about it. I have not completed my optional at least once. This was the situation. So just compare me with someone who has given enough number of test series for mains before prelims only, and who has everything sorted with notes, value addition, current affairs, everything sorted in one notes for GS1, one notes for GS2, and who has given test series for optional also. He has done value addition for optional and everything is ready. What is he going to do after prelims? He'll be having roughly 2 to 3 months after prelims.
Yes,
All
sir.
he's going to do is he is going to subscribe for test series, write test series, revise what he has already has. And in writing test series, his practice is getting better, his timing is getting better, his structure is getting better, while I am sitting here trying to complete the syllabus for mains. You understand the difference between the two individuals?
Yes,
Who
sir.
is at better edge to clear the exam? So you try
The
to,
one who is.
sir, only with NCRTs can we clear the examination, or we have to go through reference book also? Only with NCRTs, I am not very sure about it. Till what class you are referring to? If you're doing up to 12th, most of the things are covered. But again, these reference notes are tailor-made for your UPSC. So they have done enough work on reducing it. So you can follow the reference notes as also. Yeah, up to 12th, if you are doing, I think most of the subjects like society, international relations, they are all covered pretty well. But again, you cross-check with your syllabus sheet and previous year questions. If something is missing, take it from the reference notes. It's fine if you are doing up to 12 from the NCRTs. Your only guide is whether you are completing everything in the syllabus or not. Did I miss any question? Interview we'll talk about later because personally I don't think you should give much weightage to interview. All the game you can play is mains. Even if you get 150 marks in interview, if your mains marks are so high, your rank is secured. So don't bother about interview. How did you go about anthropology? In the first attempt, I did not go about anthropology at all. I just read once or twice and I gave 1 or 2 tests. I gave the exam. I lost it badly. In the second attempt, 22, I gave another attempt. I went till interview, couldn't make it to the final for different reasons. So there, how I improved 40 marks in anthropology is the simple strategy which I followed is part tests. I took part tests, some 20 tests. The first test used to be paper 1, chapter 2 and 3. Then I used to do everything I can do for that 2 chapters, postgraduate level. Everything available on the internet. Every new case study, every new thing available. And from the standard books which are suggested, Nadim Hasnain, etc., or Ember and Ember, I used to lift up the anthropologist quotations from there and put it together. So through the part tests, I covered everything. But again, it was very short time and I couldn't do my best. But for the time I spent, say 40 days I spent, and I could see an improvement of 40 marks. So yeah, this will help. You go by part tests, and once after you finish your classes, go by part tests, or parallelly also you can do. You have good test series, and try to do everything for the tests. Take every part test very seriously. Like try to give your best for each part test, and preserve whatever you are collecting in the form of notes. I think that will help you finish your optional faster instead of going blindly, because we become lethargic if you don't have a target. So if you have a target of writing a test, say weekly or monthly, then you will do it quick. You will be on your wheels.
Sir, do we have to write optional answers in a little philosophical way, or we can write it like a GS?
GS and optional answers are different. You should sound like you are an anthropologist when you are writing an anthropology answer. That is what they say, and it is true. Say for example, if they are asking about health issues in tribal areas or in tribes, you cannot write a general GS answer which you write in society. This should be backed by some case study. You should write some anthropologist's opinion. If you can, you should relate it to some theory which you have read it in your 6th chapter. So all these things you should keep in mind while you are writing an answer, and don't worry about it. As you write your answers, you will get everything right. Like I said, don't look at the end now itself. The beginning of your process will be very humble. You will make mistakes. You will feel like you are a very amateur or mediocre with respect to your content or answers. That is totally fine. As you go ahead, your answers will improve, your content will improve, your speed will improve. So don't look at the end now, believe in the process. But do have a timeline when you are going to finish what.
Sir, and can we write the optional answers in point-wise manner, or to just put the paragraphs in a paragraph manner, or?
It doesn't matter much. Again, if you are addressing each and every part in your question, it doesn't matter much. And some answers you cannot put in point-wise because the question itself is asked in such a way. So You will learn. You start writing the answers, you will learn. You get them evaluated, you will learn. Don't worry.
Okay, sir. Okay.
So I think we are done for the day. Any other questions? Any last question?
No questions, sir. I got my doubts cleared, and thank you for your valuable time.
I hope everyone you got your all doubts clarified. Thank you very much, Prithvi, from the student community for sparing your most valuable. You will be getting very less time. The time you had allocated to the students. Thank you.
More than happy to share my experiences, and I would like to avoid these fresh aspirants to do the same mistakes which we did as beginners. So that is the motive.